Hey, listeners. In this episode, we're going to talk about the movie Breaking In, where we're going to look at the reality of the home invasion that takes place in the movie, as well as performances by the cast. All that and more in episode 40 of the Reel-ists Podcast. Team Reel-ists, thanks for tuning in. I'm Oscar.
I'm Donnie.
And that is Ruben over there. For some reason, I
was waiting for him to say it himself. Hi, I'm Ruben.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm glad we're on the same page on that.
Oh yeah, that was weird. we both looked at him like, "Hello, introduce yourself."
He's on the phone, like setting himself up, not well.
I know, but like, it's just weird.
For some reason, I guess the way I started and the way you followed kind of just felt like you had to follow that, but. Yes, Ruben, our producer, is here as well as always. Thank you again for listening to this episode. And if you're a recurring visitor or listener, thank you for tuning into this one and our past ones as well. Always appreciative of that. If you're a new listener, if this is the first time you're listening to the Reel-ists Podcast, welcome. Come on down. I wish we could play more of that music to kind of support that. But
game show music.
I don't know why I said come on down. Turn up that volume. I guess. I don't know.
Turn up the volume.
I see what you did there. You didn't say the exact words.
Nope.
Can't get sued.
They can't sue us.
Nope. But yes, so the Reel-ists Podcast, we are asking everyone that is listening to us for a favor. Please go ahead and take the time to review us on iTunes or Apple Podcast if you use that as your platform to listen to us. If you use any of the other platforms, I think there's not a way to contact us, but you can always, do that on social media. YouTube is another way if you see our videos. It's just audio, no visuals, but definitely you can still leave a comment. We just want to get some feedback from everyone to kind of know what you guys are liking about us, what you guys want to hear from us, what changes you think would be beneficial. We kind of want to make sure we start to tailor it to what our listeners want to hear, just to make sure we are building that rapport and that relationship. So we definitely want to make sure we get that connection there. So if you have the time at any point, definitely give us some feedback. We really would appreciate that. Absolutely.
Agreed.
Just making sure. I just want to make sure Donnie
absolutely
was like, I don't agree. I don't want them.
I'm gonna hold my comments to myself.
Great to hear. Donnie agrees with that as well. Yes, and don't forget to check us out every Thursday. So all our new listeners, we are here every Thursday for you with 2 episodes.
Not one,
but not
2.
3, but 2. And they are movie reviews. Sometimes we have a special episode. You never know. We don't tell you in advance, so it's always a surprise. But yes, and we're going to go into a review of Breaking In. There is going to be spoilers in this episode, so if you haven't watched it...
Spoiler alert.
There you go. That was the official warning. If you haven't watched it, come back.
Woo, woo, woo. Spoiler alert. Just in case they didn't get it the first time.
I really hope there's not one person like listening to it in the library. You just...
Oh, that's fine. Sorry, that one person that's listening in the library.
Or in a quiet setting.
I just got scared in that class.
But yes, so this is a different movie. I don't want to say different in the sense of it's a home invasion that we've seen before, but they try to do a twist where the main character now is trying to, I don't want to say exact revenge. Maybe, you know what? Let me read the synopsis on IMDb. That might be better than me trying to sum it up in my words. I'm going to hold for dramatic pause. I just want to say that this episode was not sponsored by anyone else. So we would place a sponsor tag here if we had one. Any companies that are listening, please sponsor us. We would gladly appreciate it. And now we're back to our segment. And so the synopsis is a woman fights to protect her family during a home invasion.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I was trying to elaborate,
You couldn't just say that, Oscar.
But yeah, so starting off with that, Donnie, what are your quick thoughts about this film, seeing it?
I liked the film. I got what I expected. I knew that I was gonna go into this movie. You know, they've been marketing it pretty much like a mother who, will do whatever it takes to protect her children. So you're going to get that. Gabrielle Union is going to be like this kind of fierce, ferocious kind of mama bear trying to get back reunited with her kids. So I think she did phenomenal. I thought I love Gabrielle Union as an actress, so I thought she was great in the film. I will say that the film itself overall was a little... It had a lot of like those typical home invasion cliches. There's these bad guys. They want money, which is normally that's pretty much the reason why you would break into someone's house, money or something very valuable. But they wanted money. It was locked in this safe. The guys that were doing the breaking in, one was like the kind of leader of the pack, and the other ones, there was like one guy who was like didn't really want to do it and was like you could kind of tell he had this moral conflict to him, and didn't want to really hurt anybody. And then you had the opposite end, this other guy who was like kind of a loose cannon and would do whatever, he'd kill you just for fun kind of thing. So there was that, which you kind of have seen before, but it was a good film. It was fun to watch, and basically you're just for almost 2 hours you're watching them kind of go in the house and out the house and in the house and out the house. But I mean, you get what you expect. But I didn't go into this thinking like, oh, this is going to be the most riveting, thought-provoking film of 2018. It was going to be like a fun kind of, thriller, and that's what it was. So I ain't mad at it.
Okay. Definitely on par with you. You can't go wrong with what you see in the trailer. You know what you're getting in the trailer. This one was very interesting because we haven't had it in a situation, at least recently to my movie memory experiences, where it is the main character kind of having to go around, sneak around, and try to get revenge on the people invading her home.
And to have to break back into the house.
Right.
Because it's normally the opposite. Normally
trying to get out.
Yeah.
Which the kids were in that common route where they were stuck in and they were trying to find a way out. I will say the one thing that I kind of wish this movie would have elaborated was the backstory on her relationship with the father. So this is the father's I don't want to say $1 million. Who knows how much it was worth, but it was a very nice, expensive house. Set up with security cameras everywhere, had all these features. The windows were bulletproof. Mm-hmm. And so...
Very much like Panic Room, if you've seen Panic Room. I don't know if you have, but...
No, but...
Kind of like state-of-the-art home with all these features and technology and...
But no Alexa, no Siri? Question mark. Just kidding. That's a big thing in current modern homes. But no, so that was something that it was like... She was put in this situation. She grew up in this home. She had a strained relationship with her father. Father is shown in the beginning of the movie killed, and then she has to go to it to make sure she can sell it. I just felt like it would have been nice to kind of have a little bit of background as to why she was feeling these type of ways, because this was a childhood home. So normally most people are, when it's a childhood home, they don't want to say goodbye to it because there should be an emotional attachment to it. So what caused that would have been nice. Just a little bit of background as to why we should care for this character and her kids. Her being a mom and the kids being kids is a strong reason to start, but I wanted it to push it a little bit further and kind of make us root for these characters. And it was just like people invading and surviving. So I was a little disappointed on that side, but I did want to bring up the question to you, Donnie. In terms of home invasion, not that we're going to go into the actual reality of home invasion, but specifically in this movie, when it comes to home invasion, did you believe it? Did you believe the tips and tricks that they were doing to get in the house, the garage door opening, all the things that she was doing that she knew how to get around away? Let me rephrase it. To get around the house. Did anything take you back? Were you just like, really? It's been like any of that kind of thing. Did it take you away?
Well, in terms of like the tricks she was using to kind of like get back into the house, no, because she had familiarity with the house and she kind of, knew, aside from like, I guess all the newer technology, but she kind of knew the the physical location and the land it was on. So the structure of the home, so to speak. So that part, no. What was the other part of the question?
I mean, that's just really just the main and you answered it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, not really. I mean, it kind of was...
Because there's a lot of times in home invasion movies where it's a little plot convenience of like, oh, that one window was slightly cracked, therefore they could have broken it without anyone hearing. Mm-hmm. They kind of hinted that there's something off with the garage door slightly open when she was trying to order pizza, and then that set up the events. To me personally, answering my own question, I felt that there was a disconnect. I felt like I knew that she knew this place, but she didn't know about the security features. When she found that out with her son, she was kind of like, whoa, like, what are you hiding, Dad? Mm-hmm. I just felt like she should...
Well, that's when, I mean, yeah, now you're talking about the technology and, like, the features that the home itself had. So, like, when she actually got back into the house and she was, like, flying the drone and turning off the certain, sensors and things like that, then it was taking me out a little bit. Because I was like, well, how do you know all this stuff?
Right.
Like, you just...
we don't know.
Your son briefly told you in the beginning of the film, like, and didn't really tell you much. He just kind of told you what. He just said, you can control everything. You can control this. You can control that. You can blah, 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 blah. But it's not like she was sitting there studying it. She was just kind of like, and unless she's just very, very familiarized with that kind of technology, it would be hard.
Which we don't know. Yeah, absolutely. We don't know. I don't know if they said her career. I don't know if any point.
Oh,
I don't
remember.
It wasn't a highlight. If anything, it was a pass. It was a pass
very.
line.
If they did mention it, it was very slightly like
it was like a passing line that they just kind of said. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, to me, that's one of the things when you do a home invasion movie, you definitely want to make it feel like this is something that can happen to you, and I felt like the part that her not really living in this house is a part where yes, it can happen to you. In the same way that if you go to a hotel, you don't know the ins and outs of the hotel, so you don't know if someone can exactly break into your room and kind of cause that nightmare. But when it's a home you're familiar with, you should know that kinds of ins and outs. And I kind of felt like they kind of combined them both. It's like always be careful where you go, but at the same time, you might be familiar with it if you've been there before. So I was kind of confused as to what they wanted to. To me, when you do a home invasion, it's a scary topic, first of all, because it is very realistic. You can't go any realistic than the possibility of someone breaking into your door and threatening you to kill you if you don't give up what they want. And in terms of the bad guys, not the main one. I don't even know their names.
So there's Eddie, Sam, Duncan, and Peter.
Peter, the only one that I know
guy is Eddie.
Okay, the only one I know
the leader
for sure
of
is
the pack. The leader of the pack.
The only one I know is Peter because they kept mentioning Peter. Where's Peter? Where's Peter?
Pete.
So that's the only one I know. So Eddie, Duncan. Duncan is the one that hesitated.
No, that's Sam. Duncan is the crazy loose cannon one with all the tattoos.
Yes.
Sam's like the kind of one who was like, I don't want to hurt anybody.
Duncan was the only one that I legit feared.
Yeah.
Eddie, I understood what they were trying to go for in terms of like he's the mastermind and stuff.
But I didn't buy it.
I didn't buy it
at all.
Yeah, he just happened to be the one that's like, I'm rallying up guys to do this, and I felt.
And I didn't fear him, like you said. Duncan was the only one that I legit feared. Peter, I kind of feared because he really tried to hurt Gabrielle Union.
True.
Sean, I guess that's her name, right?
That
Sean,
is true.
yeah. He tried to actually like kill her, so I kind of feared him. And then she like kind of was able to like tie him up or something. But Sam for sure I did not fear, and Eddie, like, even though he was the mastermind behind the whole thing and telling everyone what to do, I didn't buy it. Sorry.
And here's the thing, to me, it wasn't. I definitely wasn't buying their evilness in terms of being scared from them or feeling like that they're legit threats. But their performances was enough for me to carry on with the story, enough to feel like they're not good guys, but they're not the breaking in just to kill you for fun as Duncan was. Duncan was the one that.
It's not like the strangers over here where they're like,
exactly
because you were home, like
right,
we're just gonna kill you. One thing that did take me out of it, though, I will say, was like kind of like the script itself. There were a lot of like just kind of, you knew what they were gonna say, like kind of corny cliche lines that were delivered that I kind of was like, oh my gosh, like you could have said something else, said something a little more realistic. For instance, there was 2 times where they said freaking, like they were 2 of the bad guys. They were saying something and they were frustrated and they said freaking, like, you know, mind your own freaking business. That wasn't the line, but they said it like that. But I'm like, okay, if you guys are big bad guys breaking in, stealing, you're going to drop the F-bomb. You're not going to say freaking. So that even that little tiny thing took me out for a split second.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's not like they weren't trying to say that word because Gabrielle Union said it at the end. Maybe they were trying to leave it for her to say to like really
make that mark,
you know. But I was like, come on.
It's one where when you bring on this kind of subject, you have to make it feel
like authentic
to the point where you fear these characters that are breaking in where not necessarily they're all evil and like Duncan, like Eddie and Sam. I still believe they would be ones that break in, but they just want their stuff and they're out.
Right. But I feel like Duncan would really just kill you for no
right,
reason.
and he would say those words because he doesn't care. There's
something.
no censor. There was no censor. He murdered one character in the movie. I will say, but there is a lot of plot predictability. You kind of know where it's gonna go. There's some times, the only times I really was uncertain was the parts where Duncan was on screen because I was like, I could totally see him killing one of the kids.
Yeah.
And
that was another thing. Thank God they didn't kill the kids. Like, and I didn't think that they were, but I feel like in real life, like they left the kids up there for so long just amongst themselves to do whatever. So it's like, if they're really trying to make sure like nobody gets in, nobody gets out, like, but they just left the kids up there I felt like that was kind of not realistic. Like they would have either kept eyes on them the entire time or they would have just killed them.
Yeah.
And the kids like had tried to like foil the plan and tried to, you know, so it's like if they were being quote unquote difficult for the robbers to, you know, carry out their heist, they would have in real life, if they were really these bad of men, they would have offed them. Thankfully they didn't. But
another thing too was the significance like of why they are going. It's kind of tough to just be like, because we're kind of like the unknown guest for Gabrielle Union, if you want to say. We're kind of like her guest in this movie where we're with her, but we can't do anything. So we didn't know about this money. They inform us that there is money in there. Somehow she knew about it and she knew the code and everything. But I feel like those kind of things we want to be set up for success. You want to be like, okay, we know there's something valuable here. Great. Bad guys are here to take it. Now let's kind of find a way to see if we can save the kids, break in, and do all that kind of stuff. Rather than, is there money in here? Like, it wasn't until they actually revealed there was money that you're just like, oh, okay, there is. Yeah. And they kind of played with it too. Like, maybe there is no money here. Maybe I got my...
Yeah, he was like, maybe I got the wrong information. So I did like that they did that because it made you question a little bit like, dang, is there money or isn't there money? Because I was kind of thinking that too. Or I was like, they're going to open the safe and there's not going to be anything, or it's going to be like, you know, so it's not going to be what we saw, which was stacks of $100 bills.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
At that point, we were just like, so we're on their side.
Right.
We're going to take a couple hundred and here you go.
Make it a stack. Just one stack, please.
Right. Absolutely. So that I do want to just ask, what was your memorable scene from this movie? If you had one, or anything that stood out that you would be a highlight to you.
Well, I remember I remember when the husband showed up, at first there was a sigh of relief because I was like, oh, okay, somebody is going to come and help. But then it was also followed by an instant more
Duncan.
fear. Yeah, because I'm like, dang, like he doesn't know what he's walking into. He's kind of running up
the same way with the real estate.
Yeah, he's like, oh my, you know, Sean, kids, are you guys okay? So then I knew like they were gonna hurt him or do something, and I really thought they were gonna kill him, like he was gonna die, but thankfully he wasn't. But that was a memorable scene. But like a scene that I did like and that I felt I was like, woo, thank you, was when basically when Gabrielle Union stabbed Duncan. So when he was like, you know, he was slapping her
the
around,
last
punching
man
her.
standing. That's
Yeah.
like, that's it. I don't care.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like I don't like that they tried to keep him alive after he got ran over. Yeah,
after it looked like he was.
I feel like that should have been his ending. That should have been like, boom, we got him out. Because at that point, you like the conclusion of the movie is like, the main characters are the winners.
Mm-hmm.
Like you feel it. Like, okay, everyone's dead, if not, down for the count, in sense of giving up. But like I felt like it just kept delaying the credits. Like if they're just like, oh, we need 15 more minutes. Duncan comes back.
Yeah.
And threatens them, and Gabrielle Union tries to shoot him, but the gun's too far, so she like I just felt like it extended the climax more than it should have. I wouldn't have.
And like I said too, it was a lot of like in and out the house. Like I could have like took one of those legs out of there, one of those trips in and out, and we still would have been fine.
Yeah, I felt like this. I don't know how the process of the movie came about. I feel like it should have been thought very well in terms of like, let's make the use of them outside and their transition to go inside and just go with that instead of like, this is a game of tag. Like,
yeah, it really was like back and forth.
Yeah, that.
And what, like, for instance, when they did escape the house and they got into the truck and they were going to drive off, they ran over Duncan. And then they were going to drive off, and then they ran into a tree. Like, oh, of course, here we go. Like, typical freaking movie cliche. Like, you think they're going to escape, but no, they run into a tree.
And that would have been a great thing if they did escape, and they're like, "Yay, we did it!" And then the husband calls, "Hey, I'm like right there. I'm turning around the corner," like, or something. And then they're like, "Oh no, we have to go back." That would have been a nice playoff than what? Yeah, crashing into the tree. I think probably because when we saw the last movie, Traffic. And that's what happened. She crashed. Like she was trying to drive off, and I think she crashed or something like that.
Traffic?
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank right now. What film was that?
That's the one with the couple going off to a getaway place. Not to advertise.
Oh, Traffic with a K.
Yes.
I'm thinking of I'm thinking of Traffic, like Benicio del Toro, Catherine Zeta-Jones, 2001-ish.
Oh no,
Traffic. So I'm
recent
what
movie.
What are you talking about? Yes, you're right.
That also happened. So it's reoccurring, and it's not a fun reoccurring. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately, there was just a lot of things that were predictable, or if not a letdown in the execution.
Yeah.
So,
a couple of things that could have been cleaned up a little more, and you know what? I just feel, and I kind of said this off of this recording, but it's not that this film was bad. I really did enjoy it, and it was a fun ride, and it was fun to watch.
Yes.
I just wish that for someone like Gabrielle Union, who was like a seasoned actress at this point and has been acting for a long time, I felt like this script maybe should have went to someone like maybe a newcomer or up and coming, like a rising star. Like that's what I know it's a mother. You need a mother, and you need someone at a certain age level to like play this character. But it just seemed like a little, I don't want to drop this word, but it just seemed a little mediocre for Gabrielle Union, in my opinion.
Although, if we're talking box office numbers for a brief second, it didn't do enough than what Acrimony did. Acrimony actually did more than this movie. Just in terms of like leading women, yeah. Yeah, and like, well, she had two movies. Proud Mary, both Proud Mary and Acrimony did more in the first weekend than Breaking In its first weekend.
And the girl who played the daughter was in Acrimony.
Yeah.
Adriana? I don't know if I'm saying her name right.
I think Adriana.
Yeah.
If she ever listens to this.
Adriana Alexis.
Miss Alexis.
You're awesome.
Who is actually older than she looks, or at least the character she's playing.
22.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, we thought you were really 15.
Right, in that 15, 16 age. Because she played, that's what she played both times. Although she did a little bit of college. I
think, more like
Acrimony.
Maybe 18, 19-ish in Acrimony.
Yeah. But no, just, I don't know why. Just had to compare it. Because you said mediocre, and I think we kind of felt like that was kind of the performances for Taraji P. Henson.
Well, speaking of box office, too, really quickly, Infinity War is still dominating. Because it actually did more than... this Breaking In and Life of the Party.
Combined. I don't know about combined, but maybe.
Probably if you're looking at like the worldwide numbers.
But yeah, so I mean, It definitely and I think you cover it the best. It's not a disappointing film. You are entertained. You are kind of watching it, and you're just like, I'm in it. I believe the setting. I believe what's going on for the sake of the movie. I do want to see how it plays out now that we've seen that.
Definitely don't want. Yeah, it's not like I'm sitting there like, oh, this movie. Let's just go. Like, no, like you're in it. You're entertained. You're in some of the more like hectic, energetic, dramatic scenes, and you're kind of like, I wouldn't say on the edge of your seat, but maybe you're like you're scooted a little closer to the edge of your seat than normal. You're not like sitting all the way back chilling. I was a little like, ready to lunge into action. I don't know at what, but just I was because it was it was a good film.
Yes,
I was in it.
So with all that being said, Donnie, what is your real score?
I would. Hey, my name is Donnie, and I'm on the Reel-ists Podcast. You need to listen before you come in last. I don't know. Wow. That was my little rap for the day. I'm gonna give this
segment. What a segment to the Reel-ists score.
I'm gonna give this film. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. A lot of that has to do with just the entertainment value. It's like this film is like a kind of a thriller. Really suspenseful and a ride. And I love when movies just like get you in it and get you like in, I say this all the time, I know, on the edge of your seat. But I like when movies do that, because I feel like there are movies where you just don't care and you're waiting for the film to end and you're checking your watch or your phone and you're like, okay, we got 30 more minutes. Like, kind of wrap this up now. But when you don't do that to a film, at least for me, that's like my kind of my marker, like how I use to gauge a film. If I'm checking my phone and I'm like, all right, 37 minutes, all right, it's almost over, then I know I'm not in it. I'm not interested in it or seeing how it plays out or how it unfolds. But this one, I was in it. I wanted to see how it ended. I wanted to see how we were going to come to some resolution. And Gabrielle Union was great. I think the actors who played the kids were great too. And for the most part, I mean, the bad guys, specifically shouting out the actor who played Duncan, I thought he really stole it for me in terms of all the bad guys. But it was good. It was a good film. It was, that's all I'll say. What about you, Oscarito?
I will say, and I just want to actually clarify briefly, Proud Mary only did 9 million. This one did 11, but Acrimony did 17. Just wanted to clarify the numbers.
Gotcha.
This is a tough one, to be honest, because in terms of entertainment, I was interested. Very similar to what yours is. I don't recall checking my phone at all. I really was like, I want to see the end of it. Do they make it? I kind of felt I knew what the outcome was going to be, with the bad guys dying and the good guys surviving. There was a few, obviously, unexpected that I wasn't, of the husband and the real estate, which we find out as you watch it. But it was tough, to be honest, to kind of get the score, because I was entertained, but looking back at it and thinking of the execution of it, the things that should have been improved on, this felt like this was a very rough draft of what should have been the final product in some sense. The performances did enough to tell the story, but it didn't do enough to make the story memorable. I could easily see this movie being kind of forgotten down the road, with more movies just taking over in terms of release dates. So with all that, as much as I want to give it a higher score, I'm only going to give it a 2 out of 5. Mm-hmm. I initially was thinking towards a 3, for my own entertainment that I enjoyed, because I was into it. I was like, oh no, don't do it, don't open that, or like, oh no, he's opening the door, they're gonna see the kids. All those like little interactions that I had in my head, were authentic. I was really engaged in the characters and the outcome. So, but unfortunately, aside from that, there's not much else good to say.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't one that made me rethink about my security features at my house, which we don't have, that I won't disclose. That I think about it in case.
Yeah, please don't, because I live here too. So.
But it didn't take me out of like thinking the reality of what can happen in real life. I really felt like this was just a movie. So a lot of those things add up. as you said, Duncan was really the only real threat that I would fear to happen in real life in terms of encounter. So for those things, very similar to what you said, a 2 is my score for this movie.
Okay. Sweet.
But listeners, we want to hear if you are on par. Did we miss something you kind of wish we should have covered or would have been a good talking point for this movie? Let us know. Definitely give us those feedbacks as we mentioned earlier. We'd really appreciate those.
Always welcome.
And always feel free to join us on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the Reel-ists Podcast, and that's REELISTS, no dash. And we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we hope to see you guys next week and the following week and the following week and the following week. Ruben,
put that on
repeat for like a good 5 minutes. But thank you everyone for listening. We hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thanks, guys.